Hi, Assalamualaikum. This is me. What is my name? My name is Nur SAHIRA ADILA binti Syekh MARZUKI 1192476 KSF. I study at Islamic and Science University Malaysia in Chemical Industry and Technology course at Faculty Science and Technology. This is my lecturer. Prof. Padia Dr. Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad Isa, one who's very knowledgeable person and great person I have known. He asked me to do a video about one of mentioned chemical risks and assessment.
Hi, in this video, I don't want to present about human health risk assessment, but a little thing about chemical health risk assessment. Let's talk about what is SAHIRA first. The chemical health risk assessment is an assessment that has to be conducted by the employer arising from the use, handling, storage or transportation of chemical hazards to help in their workplace as required by the Occupational Safety and Health. The employer is allowed to appoint an assessor registered with Department of Occupational Safety and Health to conduct the chemical health risk assessment in their workplace. All assessors should be conduct the SAHIRA manually. Just now, I told about what is SAHIRA. Now let's talk about my part. Okay, for your additional information, in the SAHIRA, it divided by 7 main change. I don't need to explain these 7 main change, but just one from them. Before we go to my part, let's see what the 7 main change. Okay, now let's talk about my part. So I got a strength 6 assessment conclusion. Assessment concluded based on the level of risk and the adequacy of existing control measure. High risk first, high risk and adequately controlled, high risk and inadequately controlled, moderate risk and adequately controlled, moderate risk and adequately controlled, low risk and adequately controlled, low risk and inadequately controlled. Okay, what is adequate control? Adequate control presents if management has planned and organized design in a manner that provides reasonable assurance that the organization risks have been managed effectively and that the organization or adequate control, we can meet it as much as good as necessary for some requirement of purpose, fully sufficient, suitable or fit, and inadequate control can be met as insufficient, not capable or competent lacking. Control measures are adequate regardless of level of risk. This situation arises when either the chemical is less hazardous or the exposure is low or adequate existing control measure to control risk. After identifying hazard, the next step is to assess the risk to health and safety that they pose. A risk is the chance, however big or small, of a hazard actually causing harm. For example, the risk of injury or disease when using a piece of equipment at work is low if the equipment is property designed for the purpose, property used for the purpose, used by someone who has been fully trained. A risk assessment is the process of determining the level of risk involved and the likelihood of injury, illness, or death occurring. A risk assessment is the process of determining the level of risk involved and the likelihood of injury, illness, or death occurring. This means evaluating the likelihood and consequence of injury or illness from exposure to an identified hazard or hazards. Risk assessment is a process of gathering information and making decisions. There is no right answer. There is no right answer. Individuals make certain decisions about risk because they have different ideas about what is acceptable. For this reason, it is important that those who will be affected by the decision, the employer, relevant employees, and their representatives are involved in the decision-making process. Risk assessment should be done whenever there is a change in the workplace that could affect health, safety, or welfare, or when there is new information about a hazard. Okay, the purpose of risk assessment is to determine whether there is any likelihood of injury, illness, or disease associated with the hazard. This means assessing whether any individual, worker, and visitor will be exposed to the identified situation under all possible scenarios. Measures already in place to protect the health and safety of individuals who may be exposed. The adequacy of the existing measure for protecting the health and safety of individuals who may be exposed. Carrying out risk assessment. Risk analysis involves developing an understanding of the risk. For each risk identified, the organization needs to assign a numerical value to be both the likelihood of the risk occurring, the impact the risk will have if it does occur.
Okay. Now I want to show why chemical health risk assessment is very important in our daily life and chemistry life. Try to think what the man in blue shade tried to show. So that man bring the chemical health risk assessment. It's magic. Now they can see hazards everywhere. All situation here is very dangerous. Now, from the SAHIRA, they know how to reduce the risk and hazards. So they can assess all the risks and everything is changing. Risk is reduced and people can stay safe. That's why the chemical health risk assessment is very important. Oops. Okay, just that.